Comics, your one-stop shop for all things comics, games, nerds, and whatever else it is that we have at the store. The best comic book store at our address in Madison, Alabama, 100% guaranteed. We've got a great show tonight. Alan and I are going to be we'll catch you guys as soon as we play this awesome introduction. Alrighty. With me tonight, as always, the one, the only, the best, the most awesome, Alan Breedlove. What's happening, Alan?
Well, let's start out with some not so awesome news. There was actually some late breaking, disturbing news out of Disney this afternoon.
What was that?
Apparently, Piglet stinks. Disney admitted it. Piglet stinks.
I did not know that, but it does not surprise me. It's kind of in the name.
Yep. But it's because he's always playing with poo.
That is awful.
The bug told me to shut up when I told it to her.
I bet she did. Because that's terrible.
She looked at me for a second and was like, shut up. And I did find out, did you know that your 17-year-old son does not like it when you roll your window down as you're dropping him off at work and start screaming, I love you, buddy? I found that out today.
I bet he walked away pretty quick.
You know what? He acted like he didn't even know me.
I bet he walked away pretty quick.
Yep.
I believe that. That sounds about right. I apologize to anybody for if my audio and video were not good. Huh?
He didn't walk away. He was sprinting.
Oh, got it. Yeah, again, apologies to anybody if I'm cutting in and out. I just think our internet is nice and I may have to drop. Apologies. If it's less than usual standards, let me know in the comments, please. Thank you much.
Wait, we have standards?
Let's see. We do have standards. I didn't say they were great, but we do have standards. Look, you told that joke, and this is Mike Wesolowski's response to you telling that joke.
Well, you know what? After last week's guest, we couldn't get anybody to come on this week. Nobody wanted to follow that act.
That was impressive, I have to say.
Yes, it was.
But I will say one thing that I think is abundantly clear is you don't have to worry about where you stand with him. He'll tell you.
Oh, no. Actually, I've got something I want to do tonight. And we can actually make this quick. I need to kill a few seconds. So for those of you that have been supporting the YouTube shorts, thank you very much. For the new subscribers, thank you very much. I do enjoy posting shorts daily. I had an idea for a short on the way down here, and I think that this is the perfect way to film it, is just to take a few seconds and get it here, and then I will grab it off the show. The shorts are about 60 seconds long, so I'm trying to wait until the clock hits just right, and then I will start exactly what I'm going to say, which is right now. So this is an incoming transmission for Kyle Higgins. Listen up, buddy. I know that you did not like the idea of a little old man tending his garden on the rooftop, screaming at no one, stay off my lawn. I get it. My presentation wasn't that well on it. I understand why you shot it down, but hear me out. Radiant gray. Old man, fat, gray t-shirt, sweatpants, and a little garden. Get off my lawn, you radiants. Call me. So that short will be posted this weekend.
Nice little shout out there to Kyle Higgins, who, let's be clear, uh, no one is awesome. What a great book. But you and I are both going back and catching up on Radiant Black. And what are your thoughts on Radiant?
So I just finished volume 2 of the trades. Um, it was weird because I've read Supermassive, and when you first start out with Radiant Black in the first couple of issues, it's not Marshall, it's Nathan. And not knowing that history, it kind of threw me for a minute. And then seeing what happened with Nathan and how it became Marshall, I never would have seen that coming. I thought that that was just brilliant writing on Kyle's part. Um, I was not expecting it. So for those of you that aren't reading it, you're really not going to understand what I'm talking about. And I don't know where you're at. How far have you made it, Josh?
Just the first trade.
So in the second trade, Marshall goes into the existence, and he's going in for a very specific reason. And it's heartbreaking is what's going on. It's really touching as to why he's doing this, what led him to this moment. And I was not expecting that at all. Radiant Black has been phenomenal. So yeah, that my thoughts on it. I'm actually mad at myself that I didn't pick it up sooner. I really am. I do kind of want to go back and check out more Rogue Sun also, just because he was in Supermassive. And I know that as of right now, we are gearing up for, or we're starting the Catalyst War in Radiant Black, which I'm not there yet. But if you follow Kyle Higgins on
Yeah,
Twitter,
gear for that. I think he said that starts for 25.
yeah, you broke up real bad on that one. But if you're following Kyle Higgins on Twitter, you're frozen, Josh. Basically, there is a vote going. Should Radiant Black be Marshall or should Radiant Black be Nathan? That's your vote. But he had one of the best Twitter comments yesterday when he reposted the vote. And he said that he didn't, something along the lines of, he didn't know how much fun it would be killing Robin. We should kill more Robins or something like that. And it was to the vote again, which I thought was great. And if y'all really need to follow him on Twitter, because he does post a lot about No One also. And he posted a video that would have been No One's point of view running from the cops yesterday. It's Kyle Higgins is going well above and beyond on his Twitter feeds and taking it all meta. It's been great following him online. It adds more depth to the stories, to be honest with you. You with us? You frozen again?
I'm with you. I'm talking. It's not working apparently.
Every time you
Our
say it's not
internet, I don't know
working, it
what's
starts
going on,
working.
but our internet is misbehaving.
See,
You're
like
not
now
working.
It's just fine.
I don't know. It's very strange. Anyway, Catalyst War starts with number 25, I believe, for Radiant Black.
Yeah, I've got to track down. Oh. No, you're fine. Go ahead.
No, there's a huge delay between what I'm saying and when you come in. There's normally no lag at all, but there's a massive lag right now.
So, honestly, I don't mean to laugh at you, but it's like watching the old Kung Fu movies. You're talking, but the audio is out of sync. It's great. Now, I think now would be a good time to refer back to that. We have standards.
Who knew? I was going to talk about Free Comic Book Day. What'd you think about Free Comic Book Day?
I really enjoyed it. I did bring a couple of books. I did bring some free comics. The reason why I brought them is to talk about them, but not in the light that y'all are thinking of. So I'm going to show you right now. I've got the Cursed Library. Look, free. Dawn of DC Night Terrors, free. Madball versus Garbage Pail Kids, free. West of Sundown, free. Do you see where I'm going with this, Josh? Let me cover that up. Frazetaverse, free. Guys, this was free comic book day. There is no reason whatsoever to be spending $10 a book on these books. There's no reason to go on. I mean, FOMO I know is real, but when you see online that the free comic book day for Spider-Man is going for like $35, that is ridiculous.
That particular Spider-Man book, as it turns out, was not a free comic book day Spider-Man book. It was a promo book that was released by PRH to certain companies, certain comic book stores. Not everybody got one, but the people who did got a bundle of 25. We
Really?
got a bundle. We put them out for free, and now people are selling them for 35 or 40 bucks. Hey, Kyle.
That was just, well, I mean, I even saw where the Garbage Pail Kids one was like $10 online. I don't understand why some of those books are selling for $10. I think the Night Terrors I saw was like $6.
You've got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Yeah, Daniel. I get it. I know that it had a low print run. I know all that stuff, but I don't get why anybody cares. It's a comic book tie-in to a video game. Those are never good. They have never ever been good, with the possible exception of Skull and Bones that's coming out right now, which is pretty good. But superhero video games have never been good comic books. And so now you're just wondering, like, what is going on with people? It's a mystery. But we had, just so everybody knows about how Free Comic Book Day went, man, we had hundreds of people come through. We had the ice cream truck out front from Baskin Robbins. That was awesome. Jeremy Brona was set up outside doing sketches for people. Kaylisa was set up outside with the back of my minivan open so we could just load donations for Mana House straight into there. And then we had the sales going on and the free comics inside. And I got to tell you, this Free Comic Book Day was even second best day in 22 years. It was phenomenal. The charity raffle for Mana House was great. We had some awesome prizes. We didn't have. We didn't have as many donations for Mana House this year as we've had in the past, but the donations we did get were like the good quality things. It wasn't the cheapo name, store brand this or that, or the off. It was the Kraft macaroni and cheese. It was the good name brand stuff. So I thought that was interesting. It was really good. I got a macaroni and cheese. I got to thank the Buckhorn Junior High School kids who were volunteering at Mana House. When I went over to drop off all of the donations that we got, man, those kids were climbing up into the back of the car, and they got that thing unloaded forthwith. It was great. So shout out to the Buckhorn Junior High kids. Hey, Bill Fisher, you bring up a good point. Yeah, talk about that, Alan.
So we were literally sitting at 398 subs a little before 4 o'clock. I posted the new short, And we jumped to, actually, we're now at 402 subs. So thank you very much to the new subscribers. Honestly, I did not know what I was going to do with that video. It was something that Josh wanted me to film. So I filmed it at Free Comic Book Day. And as soon as I went to upload it, I knew exactly which song to go get. And I believe it or not, that stupid little short, I sat there and laughed as it was uploading. I had a lot of fun with it.
Speaking of song choices and things, I gotta wonder. You posted the Batman cover with the Beatles on it, but you didn't pick a Beatles song. What gives?
So there's not very many Beatles songs to choose from when you're uploading those shorts. And the reason being is a lot of them are still copyrighted because so many other people own the copyrights. So there's really and truly only a small handful of Beatles songs that you can use, and none of them fit that video. None of them really worked with it. And guys, look, this is one of those, let your hate mail go to Nick at twobrothers.com. He handles all that for me. I'm not a Beatles fan. I've always thought the Beatles were highly overrated. The Beatles can't even carry a tune compared to Led Zeppelin. You know, if we're really and truly looking at music from that era, you put the Beatles here and the Monkees here, and I'm headed straight toward the Monkees every single time. So even the Turtles, I've always thought the Beatles were highly overrated. Nothing against them. They're a gabillion times more talented than I will ever be. Yes, yes, let your hate flow. That is Nick at twobrothers.com. There's my boy Mike. Yes, sir. There
Best
you
though,
go.
yeah, Daniel, it all depends on what you get out of it and how you do it. Some stores have reported diminishing returns over the years with Free Comic Book Day. Some stores, it's the best day that they have every year. In our case, it's the best day we have every year without fail. It drives people into the store. It gets new people into the store. It gets families into the store. The investment that we have to make in the comics just to turn around and give them away is minimal. And well, in my opinion, um, it depends what your goals are and what you're trying to get out of it. A lot of stores are really focused on. I see a lot of ire from people who are angry at the people who just come in, pick up free comics, and leave, and they don't buy anything. Sure, we want them to buy things, but it's not called free comic books if you buy some day. It's free comic book day. So there's, it just depends on your attitude about it and what you get out of it. What defines success for you? And for us, I can look at the number of customers we have through the doors every year. I can look at the ones who come back. I can look at the ones who are new, the ones who bring in their kids who have never read a comic before in their life. We get new subscribers out of it, get a lot out of it, but also financially, it's usually our biggest day of the year. This year, it's always our biggest day of the year, but this year was the second best day we've ever had, behind Free Comic Book Day in 2019. So there you have it. It's pretty good. It's a good thing. I love to do it. I liked having the food truck there this year. I was sorry we only had the one. We were hoping to have two. But we should have another food truck there for Free RPG Day, which is coming up in June, and looking forward to that one. So should be a good time.
So I know this is something that we could probably never actually answer, but out of all the people that we saw coming into Haven Saturday, how many people do you think stopped just because they saw the Baskin Robbins truck?
Lord, I have no idea, but I bet it was more than zero.
Probably more. I'm going to say definitely more than zero.
Yeah, man, we'd love to have kids come in to pick up comics and start reading. Um, the kids you can get to start reading. I mean, that's your audience in the future, right? Not to mention, it's just good to read. People should be reading, and comics make a great gateway into reading for a lot of people. Yeah, I think Mike, you've got a good point there. It's a good event for never been, and it's a good event for regulars too. Yeah, I think so. I think that's a lot of fun. Three groups stopped at least that we know of um, to get the ice cream truck, and this is a good one. One family stopped, got ice cream, got a sketch from Jeremy, but never even went into the store. Should you be embarrassed if that's a fun read, Bill? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Man, if you're in the same ballpark age as Alan and I are, and I think you're pretty close, uh, that was the early '80s right there in one fell madcap swoop. What's not to love, man? And just so you know, there is a series coming out from Dynamite. We can put that on your list, brother.
And Bill, let's be honest. I read Darkwing Duck religiously, so don't be
So I'm going to
embarrassed.
share. Well, speaking of which, we had a new subscriber as a result of Free Comic Book Day who is subscribed now to Darkwing Duck. That was the book. They're
Oh,
like, oh
that is
my God,
awesome.
there's a Darkwing Duck book. Gotta have it. Yeah. So we've
That is
reordered the
awesome.
first couple issues, the whole 9 yards, to make sure that they get it all. Um, but yeah, good stuff. Let's see, what else did I want to cover on that front? Oh, I guess we should talk about Free RPG Day a little bit. That's coming up in June. It's normally the same weekend as Father's Day, but this year they've pushed it back one. And it's similar to Free RPG Day. There are products from RPG companies, dice, quick start rules, adventure modules, that kind of thing, uh, that will be given out for free. But we will also be running games up at the shop. Hey, what's happening, Chris? We'll be running games up at the shop. We'll have 3 tables running at a time, and we'll have 2 different sessions. So you can play 2 different games that day. You can play an old favorite. You can play a new game you've never played before. We had a great time with that last year. I know you participated in that last year, Alan. I think that was the
Yes,
first year that you did that, right?
yes. The Bug and I came up there, and for anybody that's want, and I don't know if it's going to be happening again this year because I really don't know any particulars about Free RPG Day yet. Um, but Tots, the one true Zachary, he ran a campaign for a game called Honey Heist. Honey Heist is basic. Josh, it is frozen perfectly on your yawn. But um, there's a possibility. Well, Honey Heist is a great. He ran it in a way to where Bug could play it, and it's really meant to be like a G-rated game anyway. We had a lot of fun with that, just sitting there hanging out. Had a good time. I would say that if anybody is wanting to come up there and check something like that out and maybe play a game, I would be prepared to spend probably at minimum 2 hours at the shop playing the game, just so that way you don't feel rushed or you don't feel like, oh, is this going to end anytime soon? I've got stuff planned. I would say just take a couple hours, plan on being at the shop, and then just enjoy yourself. We had, like I said, we had a
Uh,
ton of fun.
I know Christine May is planning on running another game using the Dread system. And if you didn't see it last year, the Dread system, instead of rolling dice, there's a Jenga tower. And if you want to do something relatively easy, you have to pull one brick from the Jenga tower. If you want to do something hard, you might have to pull 2 or 3. And so as the game goes on, the tension mounts at the table, and it gets really, really tense. Um, Bill,
It
I
left us
think
with
what
a
he was talking
god.
about was the G.I. Joe board game. I think what Daniel was talking about is the G.I. Joe board game that I got at the expo, and that we are really looking forward to. And Free RPG Day does seem like a great day to do that. Although, yeah, that's good stuff. But I think that's what he was referencing. Ryan, good to see you, brother. Always good to see you. I will say for fans or people who know something that Alan and I have been complaining about for several months now. There was a book that ended with quite a cliffhanger, and we got news today about where that book is. That cliffhanger is going to pick up, and who is going to be picking it up. And it's news that I'm very happy with all the way around. So I can't share any of it, but that news will be released on June 14th. So be on the lookout. Just June 14th. Awesome day. It's going to be great.
Now, is that going to be the day that they release the news, or will a new book be out on June 14th?
A new book will be out on June 14th that has some kind of tie to it. And that's really part of the big mystery is what in the world that tie is and how does it tie in and all that jazz. It's totally unexpected. It was unexpected to me when I learned it today, but I'm really excited about it, and it's going to be pretty darn awesome. So June 14th, the A book is released, but that's also the news about the rest of the books that are affected by this. I wish I could say more, but I literally cannot.
Well, I'll go ahead and tell them.
They would
Spoiler
come
alert,
down on me.
Obi-Wan's dead. They're bringing him back.
They can't do that.
Yes, they can.
Free RPG Day is, I want to say, the 23rd and the 24th of June. I believe that's correct. You checking that, Alan? Because my internet is so wonky, I don't want to do anything to.
That is actually June 24th. So we have lost Josh for a minute. So right now it's looking like Free RPG Day is June 24th. Let's actually just go to the website and see what they're. They've got their publishing partners up.
Yeah, that's the companies who are donating materials for the event.
Yeah, but we're not. Well, BCW is donating some stuff for the event. Oh, they're BCW is donating dice bags, nice, and dice trays. Yes, Jay, June 24th.
Jay. And we have a food truck up there, which will be good. Awesome. Yeah, let your mom know. It'd be great. She can come out and play some games. But Alan, I think this would be a good time for you to go through that storefolio. What do you say?
Let's do it. So at 9 o'clock in the morning, I will be releasing a video. So if anybody wants to go back, we will be talking about this little stack right here. There are 2 books that are missing from this stack because they were actually purchased for the bug. And for whatever reason, she's turned bashful when it comes to this. I will get her doing comic book reviews. But she seemed to really enjoy the new issue of Scarlet Witch and Groot. She liked both of those. So, it's weird. Like when AJ from Disney Food Blog was on the show, and then I believe it was when not Kyle Higgins, when Kelly Yates was on the show, she was happy and content being out here. But she doesn't want to talk on camera anymore. So, not going to force her. But she will eventually. So let's jump right into it. So we have Breath of Shadows, issue number 4. It is a Birch book. Yes, friends of Justin Birch, go purchase this book. Before we actually talk about the book, I do want to tell y'all that the Ringo Awards voting is now, so please go vote for Justin Birch as a letterer for the Ringo Awards. Let's go support our boy as much as we possibly can, and then hopefully one day soon we can have the Ringo Award-winning Justin Birch on the show. Yeah.
You think he'd still talk to us after that?
Yeah.
Or
So,
he'll be
like
too
I was
big. He'll
saying,
be
Brett,
too big a name. He wouldn't talk to us.
I think Justin would talk to us. He might look down on us, but I think he'll still acknowledge our presence. But Breath of Shadows issue 4. I actually had somebody ask me last week what this book was like, and I told them it was like a cross between Twilight Zone, Dark Shadows, and Creepshow, and their response was, "What's Dark Shadows?" That hurt me. Broke my heart. This new generation, y'all got to step up y'all's game. But we have our rock star, and his name literally just left me. Yes, I have not bagged and boarded my books yet. They're naked. Let me tell you his name right quick. Oh, well, it doesn't matter what his name is. But he is basically gone completely and totally over the deep end. He is now it's really taken a twist. It's gotten even darker in this issue. Basically he is in the jungles and he has been thrown into the pit where he can kind of sort out his issues and find the answers that he wants. But what you can see here is, I'm not showing anything, there's a lot of symbolism with the insects, and you understand in this issue why you see so many insects in the book, and it has a lot to do with how poor he was growing up and things of that nature. We're so far, we've jumped so far into the realm of Dark Shadows and Creepshow now that I think we can definitely leave off Twilight Zone, because we've literally gone, we're in full blown, I can't say the second word of it, but we're in full blown mind, you know what, right now with what's going on with our characters. There's a breakdown in the party. There's a lot of infighting. I'm really interested in how they're going to wrap this up, because we've gone so far into it that it's almost to the point now where you're expecting the party to start dying, but you just don't know who in the party is going to start dying. There is literally, there's no way everybody's going to survive this. It's just not going to happen. If you're if you're wanting to go full blown paranormal, twisted dark, not like twisted dark in a bad way, but twisted dark in a good way, this is definitely your title if you need a break from the superheroes thing. And it's only issue 4. I think there's going to be 6 issues, something like that. So that would be a good
6,
one for you to pick
yes.
up. My fun read. I was not expecting this to be as fun as it was. This entire issue takes place this entire story takes place in one issue, and it just ended up being fun. And that was Moon Knight issue 23 with Venom. This is not the Eddie Brock Venom. This is Dylan Brock Venom. Basically, Dylan has gone to Moon Knight for help because he's still trying to get a grip and get a hold on all the changes that he's going through with Venom. And there are some people chasing him. Literally, Moon Knight's like, hey, there's one way to deal with this. Let's open the doors to the Midnight Mission. Bring them on in. We'll fight it out and take care of it. And that's exactly what he does. And along the way, he kind of teaches Dylan a little bit, not necessarily self-defense, but a little bit more of just believing in himself and just, getting in the moment and having at it. I was wondering where they were going to go with this issue, since the way we left off issue 22 with Tigra and Mark taking their relationship to the next level, or not really taking their relationship to the next level, but admitting their feelings for each other and that there is going to be a relationship there. So it was nice to break from that and jump into this, because we know that Tigra and Mark are going to have, that story is going to play out. So this was definitely a fun little read. If you just want to pick up a Moon Knight comic, a book that is literally a self-contained story in one book, I say go grab this one. It's a quick read. It's a fun read. Nice art. McKay once again knocks it out of the ballpark.
If you want, we just picked up a collection yesterday, and if you want the entirety of that Moon Knight run from issue number 1 up through this one, it's in there. We can give you an instant Moon Knight collection. That's the case with several books, like let's see, DC versus Vampires, DC versus Vampires All Out War. We just got the entire runs of all of these books, plus a whole bunch of others, so we can hook you up um, with an instant collection of some proven good series.
Yeah, DC versus Vampires was a great series. Yes, Dark Shadow. You know what? I'm glad that you said that. Dark Shadows. Yes, the remake was Johnny Depp. I'm thinking Tales of the Dark Side. So tomorrow, if you watch the video, every time I say Dark Shadows, insert Tales from the Dark Side. And yeah, I just don't edit, if y'all notice that. Oh, these videos that I do on Fridays, those are literally one take. So y'all get my screw ups and everything. Next book on the list, we have Darth Vader issue 33, Corruption of the Handmaiden. There's not a lot to read in this particular issue. It is full-blown, full-tilt action from pretty much beginning to end. We finally see Vader's how he's going to corrupt Saba. And I've really enjoyed this whole Handmaiden story arc, the way they've done it. I still maintain that Vader is the best Star Wars book out there right now. Let me jump to there's Saba right there. Today she has to choose. I mean, that's all there is to it. It is decision day. Is she going to join Vader and basically help him handle business, or is she going to try to kind of skirt this fine little line where she tries to adhere to what, Padme believed in and how she felt and everything? My only thing about these Star Wars comics, and we'll be getting into this one here in just a second, is we're still making our way toward Return of the Jedi. And what's going to happen to these characters? Because they're obviously not in Return of the Jedi. So is Saba going to escape and we maybe get a series afterwards where it picks up with her after the fact? I'm not really sure how they're going to do that. But at the same time,
somebody has to be the Dark Lord.
They've got to do something. But at the same time, when you jump all the way, it's just like Ochi. Ochi is in this series. I like the character Ochi. When we actually jump toward The Last Jedi, we find out that Ochi's mission was to basically kill Rey's parents, and he's dead. So we already know how Ochi's story ends, and it does kind of mess with his story in this title just a little bit, and that's for me personally. It's almost like I don't want to get invested in the characters because I already know they're dead. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
But I do still want to see how they
enjoying Andor.
Yeah, I want to see how we get them from point A to point B. Next up, like I said, Star Wars 34. They're doing really good. I think that they're starting to get this title back on track. I was not big on the main Star Wars title for several issues. It just felt like they were just dragging it out. It is nice that they're going into more detail about how Luke is having to track down a kyber crystal and how he's going to have to figure out how to build his lightsaber. For those of you that read the books, and I touch on this in the video that's going to be released tomorrow, there was a book that was supposed to take place between Empire and Jedi. It was called Shadows of the Empire, and I cannot remember who wrote that book. That book actually goes into great detail about how Luke rebuilt his lightsaber, but not how he got the kyber crystal, if I remember correctly. That was a great book, and I really hated when Disney come out and said that that book was not canon, because I think that that would have made a phenomenal movie. I felt like that should have been canon, but it can't be with what they're doing here. I am enjoying how Luke is having to basically go through and track down the kyber crystals, and what he wants to do. But look at this cover for the next issue. Tell me that just does not look wicked right there. If I need to get a little bit closer. That is going to be awesome. I do, like I said, it's they're continually upping their game. They're doing a lot better with the main Star Wars title, so I couldn't be happier than that.
Well, are you
With
going to
that
answer
title.
Aaron's question or what? It's been on the screen forever.
Oh, so here's the thing with the Star Wars comic books. If you go back to, I think, 2 volumes, they actually cover the time frames from Empire. I'm sorry, from A New Hope to Empire. Right now, we're in between Empire and Jedi. That's the story that they're telling now. I personally, my favorite out of all of them was was it 63 issues or something like that that took place between A New Hope and Empire. And the reason why that was my favorite is because we had the Scar Squadron in some of those. For those of you that haven't read it, the Scar Squadron is basically like an elite stormtrooper force. But the leader of the Scar Squadron is the only non Jedi or non Force sensitive person that Vader or the Emperor allowed to carry a lightsaber. I love the Scar Squadron. I wish that they would bring them back and do more with them. I'm not, personally not watching the cartoons. I'm not watching the Bad Batch, but from my understanding, the Bad Batch is loosely based off the Scar Squadron. You could pick up the trades. I do suggest starting from the beginning, starting from right there, because and I do like the way they've done it. Literally from the time A New Hope ends, that's when the comic book picks up, pretty much right after Luke destroys the Death Star, goes all the way up to them getting to Hoth, and then you have the movie. The movie ends, and then it pretty much the comic book series does start over with one, and Luke is pretty much standing there with his brand new hand. And we're working through that now. There's a few issues in this particular volume that, like I said, I feel like they're just dragging it out. They could have done a lot better storytelling wise, but they're really starting to pick back up speed. My thing is, I want to hurry up and get to Jedi because I want to see how they're going to continue the story after Jedi. The Darth Vader comic, I don't know how they're going to do that. The Vader comic from New Hope to Empire, friggin' excellent. I mean, just absolutely great. And the reason being is when Vader first shows up on the scene, a lot of people don't know who he is. They're still trying to figure him out too. So he's having to go through, and he's not earning respect, he's taking respect. They find out that he's kind of hard to control, so they start putting him with the different mobs, and he eventually ends up with Tarkin. You get a lot more story of Tarkin and Vader's relationship, and Tarkin goes toe to toe with Vader. Tarkin and Vader basically end up on a planet at one point, and it's like, hey, look, the only way we're going to sort this out is we got to duke it out. And Tarkin has no fear. Tarkin is truly a bad mofo in his own right, even though he does not use the Force. So, yeah, if you want to read the Vader series, I say you can read them side by side. They take place at the exact same time. They never really and truly intersect. But I say just start with volume 1 with the new series is what they've been doing. I kind of went off on a tangent on all that, but sorry. I do know a guy that's there that could order those trades for you. Josh has actually already mentioned this next one, and it's Skull and Bones issue 3. It's over with. It was 3 issues. Pick it up. It was great. Once again, a nice break from superheroes, a nice break from paranormal, a nice break from horror, period. It does exactly what you needed it to do. We've got 4 distinct groups. They're all fighting for the same thing, and they all have at it. That's all you really needed to know. We didn't need tons of backstory. To be honest with you, even at the end of this issue, I still don't even know what the treasure was. I hadn't got a clue. It really doesn't matter. It was a bunch of pirates and some police fighting each other. It's exactly what I needed it to be. If they go forward with another Skull and Bones, I'll definitely be picking it up. They can definitely go forward with these characters, but it also works if they don't go forward with these characters. Pick up another group of pirates and what's going on. 3 issues. I'm pretty sure Josh can still order you all 3 issues. They're quick reads. They're fun. It's a nice break. And I'll flip it open. If you look, the art really, truly does fit the story that they're telling. I'm big on that. I don't care how good the art is or how bad the art is, as long as the art fits the story. We'll take Department of Truth as a prime example. I'm not a fan of that art style on any level, but it fit the story perfectly. And it is the same thing here. Yep. I am a fan of this art style, and it fits the story perfectly. So, yeah, Skull and Bones, 3rd issue, Savage Storm is officially over with. So it's not like you got to go pick up 25 issues to get the full story. Next up, we have Dawn of DC, Batman 135, also known as issue 900. I hate it.
Is this thing.
And the bad thing about it is it should have been a graphic novel. It really and truly should have been a graphic novel. He crams a lot of story into this issue. It is an oversized issue. Yes, it's a $6.99 issue, and it's worth every single penny of it. We literally see Bruce going through the multiverse trying to basically track down Red Mask. We know exactly what Red Mask's purpose is. Every universe that Red Mask goes to, he brings back the Joker in that universe, or he makes that universe's Joker more violent. The cool thing is when they're jumping the multiverse, literally Batman 89, Batman 66, Batman The Dark Knight Returns. We're getting all the Batman that we've grown up with.
Batman Beyond.
Yeah, Batman Beyond. And I elaborate on this a little more in another video, but the reason why I say this should be a graphic novel and it should have been a lot bigger, and I still would have bought it, is because it's kind of alluded to that our Bruce that we're actually reading in this Batman series spent time with the Dark Knight Returns Frank Miller Batman. You'll kind of see the way that it plays out. It's not like he just blip, showed up, blip, what happened, and blip, he was gone. He had to be there a little bit of time for what happened to happen. And if you've read it, you understand why I keep showing you my hand when I say what happened to happen. So to me, that kind of, I got the impression that he spent time with all the other Batmen. And I would like to have seen more of that. I just thought that that was very well done. But in the end, as great as this was, this entire $7 oversized comic book come down to 2 words: shark repellent. Leaving it at that.
It is fantastic too. It's so good. It's so freaking good.
Now, I'm going to say a line from a comic book, and we're going to see if Josh knows what I'm talking about.
All right, let's do it.
Get away, Jack. There's no room left on the door.
I thought that was a great moment in that book. Oh my gosh, what a great throwback. That is Batman Joker Deadly Duo #7. And that is a really fun line in there.
So, #7. Let's just put it like this. This book was so friggin' good. This book had very possibly one of the best callbacks that I have ever seen in any comic book that I have ever read. Both lines were uttered by the same character. I'm going to tell y'all the line that was uttered, and if you have not read it, you're not going to understand it, and it's not going to be a spoiler. If you have read the book, you will definitely know what I'm talking about. If you want the spoilers, watch tomorrow's video. But the Joker flat out tells you in issue 1, I don't like it when people take my things. The Joker flat out tells you in issue 7, I told you in the beginning, I don't like it when people take my things. That right there took this story got flipped around so hard, so fast, and became so much more in depth in one issue that it's actually hard to explain. I would love to see some type of continuation. The Deadly Duo will never be again. That part of the story has ran its course. This is over with, but here's the thing, and we're going to point it out. Amanda Sims is very possibly the best new character that DC has put out in a very, very, very long time. This is what she looks like now. This is Amanda Sims. I'm trying to make sure that this is what she looks like going. Oh, wait a minute, get around there. Going forward, Amanda Sims could very easily be the perfect villain for the Black Label universe, and that's just what I'm calling it. She is dark. She is violent. In her mind, she's not doing anything wrong. It's for a better Gotham. If anybody if you're not reading this book, but you've seen, like, say, the Saw movies, the traps that she sets would remind you of the original Saw movie, how those things played out. There was a choice, you had to do something. And no matter what the choice you made, it was going to be a bad outcome. And her character was written perfectly for what she needed to be. Honestly, Amanda Sims is literally my new favorite DC villain. Another cool thing about these is you get these sketches in the back from where Sylvester was originally working on them. Those are really cool to see. They're really nice. Yeah, y'all aren't going to understand because there's no words right here. But Josh, can you make that out right there?
Oh yeah.
What they're tied to?
Yep.
I thought that was brilliant. When he turned around and killed them, not for what they had done, but for what they knew. Oh my God. That was just, there's not enough good things that can be said about this. I know that, and I've already got my name.
We have already ordered the hardcover.
That's what I was about to say.
We've already ordered the hardcover, and we can always order more.
And when the actual the hardcover is the hardcover's mine. I love y'all, but I'm not sharing the hardcover. That's how much I enjoyed this book series. But when the trade comes out, we will be giving away a trade on the show. I will go pick the trade up myself, and I'll be giving it away on the show. That's just how good this was. So that is it for new comics. My throwback pick of the week. Actually, I picked this one because of Dustin Ellis. Dustin is loving him some Silver Age Batman. So I thought, I was digging through my Silver Age box and went, hey, I'm going to snatch this one. We have Batman issue 204. It's a 12 center. We love the 12 centers. But look at the art. Once again, in that era, it was just all about the art. It was simple and complex at the same time. It was absolutely beautiful. And I mean, it literally, they tell you what it's going to be about. In issue 205, it's actually one of these guys, and you've got the close-up of his face, and you've got Batman and Robin's reflection in his glasses. I know, because I got that one at home too. But yeah, we've got the approved by the comics code. We've got the 12 cent, the old school DC logo with Superman across the top of it. And I mean, it's another one of those that if you like this type stuff, I want to say this was like $10, $15. I mean, they're not out of reach just to go get you some books like these. They're very easily purchased, and they're if you're local to the area, they're very easily purchased. Just walk in the door, look for the Joker, and follow him back there, and you'll see a ton of books like these, anywhere from $5 to $100. I mean, it's literally how much or how little you want to spend. And like I've been saying it for a long time, anytime somebody picks up a Silver Age book to go in their collection, I'm automatically going to say congratulations. I love having these books in my collection. It's just, to me, Silver Age, it doesn't get any better than Silver Age. Unless we start getting into like the 70s horror comics. But that's a whole different story. So there are the reviews for the week. I can't tell if Josh is frozen or not.
Well, that's awesome as always.
No,
Mike
and
wants
then
to
the
know if that's
whole
the origin for the black cat.
On which one?
The Batman book you were just holding up.
Oh, the origin for the black cat. Yeah, different black cat. And what just went through my mind, I can't say. Well, I mean, I could have said it last week when we would blow the ratings out, but we're trying to get back in y'all's good graces this week.
That's true. That's true. So let's talk about this real quick. Night Terrors. All right. They're starting Dawn of DC. They're relaunching. It's a soft relaunch, but they're relaunching a lot of the DC universe with this whole Dawn of DC idea. They've built up a lot of momentum. So far, so good on the books they've put out. But they're going to stop everything for 2 months and tell this Night Terrors story. It's a 4-issue limited series on its own that comes out every 2 weeks. And then on top of that, every single one of the major DC titles is taking a break for 2 months so that they can tell this Night Terror story in that title. So it won't be Chip Zdarsky Batman. It will be Night Terror's Batman for 2 months. It'll be Night Terror's Detective for 2 months. Green Arrow, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, all of them. It might be awesome. It might be. Josh Williamson, the architect of Dawn of DC, is really excited about this. This was his idea. And he somehow thinks that it fits in by breaking up the momentum of this fresh relaunch and just stopping that and jamming this into the middle of it. Maybe it'll work. Maybe I'm wrong. It just seems very awkward to me to relaunch everything and before it even gets going to stop it and say, but wait, I want to tell you a different story right now. I've got faith in Josh Williamson, but not that much. That's a big ask.
Isn't there supposed to be a character introduced in Night Terrors that kind of goes forward into Dawn of DC?
Yeah, it's this new character. It's essentially like Nightmare from the Marvel Universe, but his name is Insomnia.
Okay.
But everything in here is a new Night Terrors book. Every title. So it's Night Terrors First Blood, which is not Rambo. It's the Trinity. It's Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. It's Night Terrors Batman, Night Terrors Detective Comics, Night Terrors Nightwing, Night Terrors Poison Ivy, Night Terrors Catwoman, Harley Quinn, Joker, Robin, Titans, Shazam, Green Lantern, Black Adam, Angel Breaker, whatever that is, Zatanna, Punchline, Ravager. And then in the middle of that, Hawk Girl gets a new series. Like, okay. So yeah, new Hawk Girl series. Art looks pretty. That's about all I can tell you about it. I have no idea if it's going to be any good.
Did you read that Green Arrow?
It's in my stack, but I have not read it yet.
I'm trying to, because I know the Green Arrow is only going to be 6 issues. I'm trying to figure out how they're going to pull Night. I mean, I can kind of see a way they can pull Night Terrors into it, but I don't know if it's going to make
let's
actual
just say
sense.
this: DC's new paradigm that they have entered into is if they're going to announce things as a limited series, and if it doesn't sell great, if it stays a series, if it's big enough series, that's the model going forward. Now, I have a question about this because we've got Tom Taylor has been writing Nightwing, and he's writing the new Titans book, right?
Yes.
Meanwhile, Mark Waid has been writing World's Finest, which has also been quite good. Now, what, a month and a half, 2 months after Tom Taylor's launch of Titans, we have Mark Waid launching, that's right, World's Finest Teen Titans. So we're going to go from 0 Titans books to 2 Titans books. Now, granted, they're both being written by Tom Taylor and Mark Waid, so the likelihood is they're both going to be really good. But it seems kind of like a little bit of overkill to me.
Well, and I was wondering when I saw that on the sign-up sheet if they were going to play off of each other, were they going to be, totally separate? Exactly how they were going to do it.
Sorry, I also forgot a third one. Tales of Teen Titans.
So why do you think Titans is getting so much love here lately?
I don't know. If other than, I would guess it's been a very positive response to what Tom Taylor's been doing in Nightwing. And they're seeing really high order numbers for Titans #1. Is probably what feeds into that. Also, the sales on Mark Waid's World's Finest have been very good, and he has integrated Nightwing and Batgirl, for example, into that story pretty well. So I don't know if it's just they feel like they really need a good, solid team book, and JLA is just not doing it anymore. The Justice League's just not doing it. I don't know. So that may be where they go. Now, this one I'm a little bit interested in, I have to say. Batman Beyond, Neo Gothic. Look at that.
I was never a big Terry McGinnis fan. I don't know why. I mean, I watched the cartoon. Some. I never really got into the comics. Yeah, I never could get into them.
Here's hoping they do some Nathan Zerdy covers on this one because I think this looks pretty good. Harley Quinn, Black, White, and Redder.
Now, see, when you bring it up, Harley Quinn. I wonder how her Night Terrors 2 books will go, because she could have a really since she's a former psychiatrist, she could have a really interesting story arc in there.
That's true. Now, this book is also being written by Mark Waid. What do you think about this one? The Last Days of Lex Luthor.
I'm definitely going to check it out, but how many last days are we going to have of some of these characters? I mean, they're not going to kill Lex Luthor off. You know, I mean, it's killing Lex Luthor off. I mean, you've pretty much killed off one of your main bad guys, period. You know, you've killed off one character that could legitimately show up in any book anywhere and be the main antagonist for an issue or two, just simply because he's a rich dude that can do stuff like that. You know, the Joker can't really, I mean, he has in the past, but the Joker really doesn't fit in the Flash storyline somewhere, but Lex Luthor can. So I'm maybe if it's going to be like an Elseworlds thing, that would be a little different. Since it's on me,
Could be.
this
Could be. I just realized that. Ha! Take that.
Hey,
let's jump over to Marvel real quick.
So before I got one more Night Terrors question.
Gets the cover.
Oh, nice.
Moon Knight 25 gets the cover, and in addition to being Moon Knight 25, what happens in this issue, Alan? What happens? We already know.
Oh, I already know.
Yeah, you already know.
Then I've already forgot.
First appearance in comics of the Scarlet Scarab.
Oh, yeah, I did forget about
that. From the show.
So, do we know how the Scarlet Scarab is going to actually play into this? I mean, is she going to be like a former love interest, or because you know in the show,
well, she should be, because in the show she's from. That character was in Moon Knight #1.
Yeah.
The comic. So she should be.
But in the comics, it was a dude, though.
It's supposed to be her.
Yeah. No,
so
I'm talking about
what happens.
The Scarlet Scarab that showed up way back when was originally a dude, wasn't it?
Yeah, but this is going to be the Scarlet Scarab from the show, which I'm pretty sure means it's actually going to be her.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, a new Blade series. I always like Blade. You know, I dig it. I get it.
To me, Blade was always fun when he randomly showed up in somebody else's comic book.
Well, I can't argue that. Now, here is the next Disney cover. I'm curious about your take on this one.
I mean, honestly, they're nailing these covers, and I would have liked this cover a little more if I would have seen it before I saw the Iron Mickey cover. Because honestly, and I love Spider-Goof. I thought Spider-Goof was great. But to me, everything is kind of paling in comparison to Iron Mickey. And she would probably make a better Captain Marvel than Brie Larson.
That could be. Could be. Let's see what we got here. I hate when they do this. This chaps me. As a retailer, how am I supposed to sell this? As a fan who might be interested in buying things, how are you supposed to know if you want this? That's what they tell you. It's called Fallen Friend. All will be revealed. Literally all, because they tell you literally nothing else.
Sounds like a Spider-Man comic.
How are they want you to buy this? How am I supposed to know how much to order? How do you know if you want it? I mean, this could be the Toxic Avenger for all we know.
You know, honestly, I would buy it if it was the Toxic Avenger and not Spider-Man.
I don't know. Then we get this Marvel Age 1000. Look at the lineup of writers and artists on this, y'all.
We got all blurry and froze up some. There
J.
we
Michael
go.
Straczynski, Dan Slott, Jason Aaron, Mark Waid, Steve McNiven. I love Steve McNiven's art. Carrie Andrews. Man, this is going to be interesting.
Ryan Stegman.
We'll see what happens here. This one gives me enough to say I want to buy it or not. This one does not. Fallen Friend. That tells me nothing. Is Bruce Jones dying again? Who
Maybe
knows?
Gwen Stacy's dying again.
That could be. You never know. All right. I get when you reprint facsimile editions of X-Men #1 or Amazing Spider-Man 129. I don't get this. Marvel Now .1 facsimile edition. What the heck?
Yeah, I really don't see a point in that at all.
Has it got some first appearances in it? Yes. Is this worth a facsimile edition? Absolutely not. Get out of here with that noise. I think far more correct. Yes. I think Daisy would be Captain Marvel. Not many. I agree with that. Let's see what else we got here. The new Black Panther series looks interesting, I have to say. I'm excited to check that out. Moon Knight 25, by the way, is listed as Moon Knight's past and present collide, leading into his first event series. And in addition to being the regular story, it also includes a classic Moon Knight story from the past, written by Doug Munch with art by Bill Sienkiewicz.
So
Boom.
You know when they did oh crap! It was a Moon Knight one shot, but it was where he basically traveled through time fighting Kang.
Oh, that was an annual, and that was amazing.
Yeah, if they're going to do something from a story from his past, I would love it if they did something along those lines. That was so good.
Okay, apparently, Moon Knight 25 is like got a cameo of Scarlet Spider. Her first actual appearance is in this new 5-issue limited series, Moon Knight: City of the Dead. That cover is a weird one. This cover I like.
Actually, I'm liking both of them. I mean, that's a great cover. Let me see that other one right quick again. I'm really digging that right there. That's just cool looking.
It's one of those negative space kind of things.
Yeah.
That's a lot of red. But this whole City of the Dead Egyptian thing, when they lean into the Egyptian stuff, I always dig that in Moon Knight. Here's some of the interior art.
Oh, that looks so good. Now, is that for City of the Dead or is that 25?
Yeah, that's for City of the Dead. But yeah, no, I like it. Captain America number 750, which of course they're making it a big event issue. And this one says that the Captains America mourn their fallen. Is that a fallen friend?
Probably.
Now, I'm curious what you think about this one. Captain Marvel, Dark Tempest, number 1 of 5. And there's two things to note about this. One, it's both Captain Marvels, and also it's written by a superstar writer from the 80s and 90s, Ann Nocenti.
So if they're going to go with the throwback Carol Danvers on that, I definitely want to check it out. Yeah, that'll definitely be one I'm checking out right there.
Yeah, Ann Nocenti, man, I always loved her stuff. She was fantastic, and I want to have her on the show. I'd love to be able to get her on the show. What is this book? I don't know. It's called Marvel Zero, and it's got stories in it by Zeb Wells, Al Ewing, Gary Duggan, Jonathan Hickman, and art by Patrick Gleason, Brian Hitch, David Marquez, Javier Garon. But yes, Marvel Zero.
I mean, it's definitely nice looking.
So we'll see.
Hey, thanks, Kyle. Have a good night.
Now they're also doing a new a series of limited series like they did a couple of years ago. This is What If Dark. So these are all darker stories. The first one is What If Dark Spider-Gwen #1, and as you can see, that's Peter Parker's dead. Well, yeah, I mean it's the origin for Spider-Gwen, right? What If Dark Loki #1, written by Walt Simonson with art by Scott Eaton. That's a Simonson art there on the cover, but
yeah,
Loki. What if Loki had the hammer? Then there's the new X-Men Days of Future Past #1 of 4, or it's X-Men Days of Future Past Doomsday #1 of 4. That's the cover, so we'll go with that.
I do kind of pull the page down just a little bit. I do like the way the Sentinels look. I got to give them credit on that.
Yeah. But I'm curious about that. I have missed reading the X-Men. I have wanted to read the X-Men a lot. It's not been reading. It's annual event Empire 2020. That's become an annual thing now. I don't know what's happening here in X-Men 24. I'm going to just admit that straight up. But I also have to admit that I kind of totally dig this cover. Look at that. That is one giant crocodile mouth.
I've said this 1,000 times. Cyclops has got the potential to be an amazing character, but for some reason they have just dropped the ball on him for years.
Yo, I 100% agree with that.
And and to me they've dropped the ball on a lot of these X-Men characters, and they could be so much better.
100% agree there.
And that whole X-Men Doomsday might be a little bit cooler if they actually fought Doomsday from the DC universe.
True. I agree. Now, see what you think about this. This is Miles Morales, Spider-Man #8. Clearly a throwback to Amazing Spider-Man 238, but I totally dig it.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. And Cyclops is always right, but Cyclops, I mean, Lord have mercy.
No, Ken, no.
I mean, come on.
He took the Phoenix Force and went all dark crazy, and he's all mopey and whiny. No, man. He used to be cool because you could see that he was fighting through the hard stuff. but he just became a complete buffoon to me. I don't know. I
It
would love
was,
for you to come on sometime and defend that statement, Ken. Maybe you can convince me.
in the whole House of X, when he comes walking out of that portal, and it's the first time you see him in that miniseries, and you see other heroes just immediately stand down, and he's like, "Hey, we got a problem here." You're thinking, "Here it is. We have finally got our badass Cyclops." And then they start the regular series, and he's right back down into the wuss phase again. You could probably sign Nick Ellis up for that. He loves them goblins. That does the
I mean,
art
I
looks
don't care for
wicked.
this book, but that art is fantastic. That art makes him a creepy looking bad guy. And I gotta say this for anybody who's not reading the current Venom Lethal Protector series, written by we just learned how to pronounce his name correctly, David Michelini. Look at what's happening on this cover.
Is that Doom getting venomized?
Doom is stealing the symbiote.
That's actually kind of that's
That's
pretty slick right
terrifying.
there.
Doom is taking the symbiote, and that is horrifying. Ha!
In the
Wow.
90s, I would always call it a Cenobite just because it would make the fanboys mad.
Yeah, and because most of them probably was Cenobite actually. See, uh, Fantastic number 9, Fantastic Four still just has been fantastic. Scarlet Witch number 6 looking awesome. I gotta say, I dig this Ghost Rider number 16 cover. I mean, I've seen variations on this idea before, but this is pretty cool.
That is pretty slick looking. I got to give them credit on that.
Now, I have to wonder. Now, Marvel has a character called the Scarecrow, same as DC. Marvel's is infinitely less cool than even the weakest incarnation of DC Scarecrow. But I have to ask, what exactly do you think a pitchfork is going to do to Ghost Rider? Can someone answer that for
I don't
me?
know. Is the
What is a
pitchfork been
pitchfork going
blessed?
to do?
Is it a
Not
holy
that I'm aware
pitchfork?
of. Doubtful.
I don't know, but it does look pretty cool.
It looks cool, but what's he going to do? That seems like he's just waiting to get his butt kicked. Tell me what you think about this cover, because this cover makes me nervous.
Well, I'm a little worried about old DD, and the reason being is we know that Zdarsky's run is coming to an end.
Yeah,
And
but dang it.
did you read the last issue? I believe issue 10.
Yes, I did.
That whole conversation between him and Spider-Man, that was just friggin' heartbreaking.
Oh, it absolutely was.
I mean, that, my God, he has written those characters so beautifully. So I'm a little worried because he's not going to go out with a whimper. He's going to go out with a bang. Chip Zdarsky's going to remind everybody who he is with the way he ends his Daredevil run. So here's my thing.
It's written by Charles Soule, and the artwork is by Luke Ross, who is one of my favorite comic book artists on the market today.
So here's my thing. I really wish, and I'm actually digging through these books for a particular reason. I am looking forward to this. I do. This is on the back of the current Star Wars. This is Star Wars Empire #1.
Yep.
I am looking forward to that. I do want to check that out. But at the same time, I really wish they would slow down on Star Wars titles. Focus on 2, maybe 3 solid titles, and let's just kind of let some of these characters start dying off. Oh,
Look at
no.
Darth Vader with that shield.
Is that Afra beside him?
It is.
God, I hate that character. I wish they would kill that character off.
But look at him with that shield.
Dude, he just looks friggin' awesome.
Woo-hoo. Agreed. Yes, that's pretty spectacular. It's spectacular.
I mean, I know some people love Dr. Afra. I have never seen any use for that character whatsoever.
Yeah, I know how you like these old books. So Marvel's got some Marvel Masterwork coming out, and check out the Werewolf by Night.
Oh, that's just pretty right there. I like that.
Isn't that great?
And that's the Masterworks line.
Yeah.
How much are those going to be running?
They are $75, so it's not quite omnibus territory.
Gotcha.
And it's not the absolute size territory. But it's better than your average hardcover. It's somewhere in between. I'm going to ask this. I thought the Miss Marvel show on Disney Plus was excellent, so this is not a knock on the show. I just think their timing is really terrible. You're just now going to come out with the Marvel Studios Miss Marvel series? Are not a year behind?
Yeah,
Like,
timing was
zero
way
people
off on
talking
this
about
one.
that right now. Don't get it. Do not get it. Let's see. The rest of these are all trades and such, but if I remember right, there was one in here that was particularly of interest. Do, 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 do. Maybe I'm misremembering. Oh, here's the. It's going to be small on the screen, but this is the only image of it in here. Moon Knight 25 has a variant cover by Gary Frank, and they also have released a poster of it.
Oh, that is wicked right there. They've released a poster of it.
Would focus. Yeah, that's going to be a poster.
Can you put me down for one of those posters?
I most certainly can.
That needs to be framed and hung in my garage.
Oh, yeah. Mike, we're actually about to wrap up places and things that have to happen. But yes, I do believe that you won one of our raffle prizes. Big, humongous thank you to everybody who donated to our Manor House Food Drive charity raffle. We had a lot of great prizes from a lot of awesome folks who donated. Mike donated prizes to it. Christine May donated prizes to it, handmade things, a kid's little quilt, tote bags, all kinds of stuff that she made. We had a graded book from the spinner rack. We had a Funko Pop of Obi-Wan Kenobi signed by the voice actor from Clone Wars at the expo from the Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo. Just a lot of great stuff. And we really appreciate everybody who donated prizes, everybody who donated to the raffle or to the charity who brought things for the food drive so that you could get prizes or entries into the raffle. It's one of the things we really enjoy about Free Comic Book Day is it gives us a really good opportunity to give back to our community and to help our neighbors here in the Huntsville area, North Alabama area. So we really appreciate you guys helping to make that doable. That was awesome of y'all. So thank you guys for that. Um, I do have to check out now, and I got some things I've got to take care of tonight. And unless something has changed, both Alan and I have other commitments next week, so there will not be a show next week. Is that still correct, Alan?
That is still correct. So next week I will record another episode of the Pull List, and I will actually release it at our normal time that we go live on Thursday nights, maybe a little bit earlier. So y'all will get videos next week. Y'all will still get YouTube shorts every single day. I'm not letting up on that. But as far as a live show, yeah, that's just there's going to be no way they're going to be able to make that Thursday night.
Yep. So y'all take a week off because we're going to take a week off, and then we'll be back right after that. And we do have some folks we're talking to, some great guests that we're lining up, and we are really looking forward to bringing those guests on to talk comics and art and writing and all kind of things with you guys. I've got a guest lined up. I haven't even told Alan about this yet, y'all. Directly, let's see, if you go and watch Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, for example, this person's name is in the credits.
Michael Rosenbaum.
And, it's Kevin Feige. You just say.
Okay. I'd rather have.
We do have somebody coming on who is absolutely an awesome person, and this person's name is in the credits. I'm really excited for that one. So we'll get to hear about a little bit of what goes on behind the scenes in some of these movies, and that's going to be great. What are you laughing about?
The first thing that I thought was, I swear to God, if Aaron has already made it to a Marvel movie and he's our guest that's coming on, I'm going to be so pissed off at you for hyping that up.
No, Aaron hasn't gotten that. He hasn't gotten that job yet, but that's coming. But no, this is somebody who worked on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special, the Jurassic Park, the more recent Jurassic Park movies, Spider-Man: No Way Home. This person's worked on a lot of amazing stuff and is really, really cool, and I am very excited to talk to them. So we'll leave y'all with that, something to look forward to. Outside of that, you guys have a great night. Have a great week. Get out to Haven. Pick up your comics because that's awesome. If you're not local, get out to your LCS and pick up your comics. And stay. Don't just pick them up and walk out the door. Pick them up, hang around, and talk comics with the people working there, with the other people who are in there, because the community is what it's all about. I mean, the stories are great and they're fun, but they're kind of boring in a vacuum. You want to read those and be able to share that with people. That's what we're doing here because we love it. So yeah, take that extra effort, spend a few extra minutes, hang around and talk comics with some people. You'll find that you like it. I guarantee it. I don't guarantee it because that's silly. I don't know you, perhaps. But I'd be willing to bet that you'd come out having enjoyed it that much more. So yeah, you guys all have a great night, and we will catch y'all next time. Adios, amigos.